why you thought of pursuing MBA HR after doing bachelor's in computers, and secondly, how the career journey started after pursuing your MBA in HR.
It's actually an interesting story. Prior to my bachelor's in computer application, prior to my graduation.
And then how did the post MBA HR journey started in corporate? Hello, I am Deepa and I welcome you to Talent Vibes. Let's talk it out, an OCBS initiative. Today, we are very happy to have our today's guest, whose name is Neha Wagh, who is a L&D professional. Let's welcome her on the show. So welcome on the show, Neha.
Thank you.
This is a small gift from Talent Vibes team.
Thank you.
There is one more special gift. This is from City Mali Gardening Solutions Private Limited.
Thank you.
So City Mali Gardening Solutions, it is a Pune-based firm and they are into garden maintenance. They rent out plants to your offices or to your residents. Also, they take care of AMCs as well. So if you have any such requirement, please contact them. Their details are given in description box. With over 12 years of experience, leading learning and development, organizational development, and talent management across healthcare, manufacturing, and edutech, she specializes in designing impactful interventions that drive individual, team, and organizational growth. As an NLP master practitioner, she brings a unique perspective to leadership and personal development, integrating behavioral insights with strategic L&D solutions. Her expertise spans e-learning, L&D technology, learning journey design, and leveraging analytics to create data-driven, scalable learning programs. Throughout her career, she has successfully led key OD and talent management initiatives, including culture studies, performance management frameworks, grade structures, succession planning, and competency frameworks across hierarchy levels. Additionally, she has driven organizational design projects, identified and developed high potential talent, and crafted large-scale learning interventions that deliver measurable business impact. Partnering closely with business leaders, she focuses on understanding organizational challenges and crafting tailored L&OD strategies that align with business objectives. Passionate about fostering leadership, innovation, and a culture of continuous learning, she strives to create transformative experiences that drive sustainable success. Beyond work, she is a passionate writer and lover of music and a foodie at heart. So to start with, Neha, we got to know from your introduction that you have done your bachelor's in computers and then you did your MBA in HR and then you started your career journey.
Yeah.
So there are two things that I would like to understand. Why you thought of pursuing MBA HR after doing bachelor's in computers, and secondly, how the career journey started after pursuing your MBA in HR.
Okay. It's actually an interesting story. So prior to my bachelor's in computer application, prior to my graduation, I was very passionate about pursuing my career in the field of English teaching.
Is it?
Yeah. So, and I was pretty serious about it.
Okay.
So I thought that, and I used to, take classes at home where I used to teach students between the ages of, say, 15 to 18. So around between 7th standard to 12th standard. And that was all, it was pretty established in my mind that I would continue my career doing that. Okay. It really interested me. And at the same time, I was also drawn towards technology.
Okay.
So choosing my graduation was a very well thought of decision, where I felt that, a perfect blend of management in general, because I was running a mini business on my own at a young age. And that earning was something that I was really proud of. So I felt that maybe, a blend of management and a blend of technology would probably be available in a graduation like that, BCA. and which is why that decision. However, when I started my journey in my graduation, over the period of time, I realized that I am drawn more towards the management subjects and less towards the technical subjects, which were like proper coding languages. So that was something that I clearly didn't find my peace in or my love in. And then I think the journey ahead was pretty much clear to me. Subjects like principles of management or organizational behavior or even HR for that matter really interested me. And having that innate sense of teaching or training within me, I thought that MBA HR would be the best decision that I can take. So, and this time I think it was a wiser decision than the graduation decision that I took.
Definitely. So as you grow old, probably things become more clear in terms of what is it that you're liking and what is it that you can do. So I always feel there are two things, what you're good at and what you're enjoying. So both is equally important, I feel.
I think that is so true and so wise. I mean, what you're good at and what you're enjoying. Personally, I feel it should become one at some point in time. For me as a person, it's extremely important that I love my work. Because, that's where you spend your most time on. You spend around 10-12 hours a day doing what you do. And if you don't like that, it's super unhealthy.
Becomes so difficult.
And you won't be able to sustain for long if you don't like what you do. So choosing my career path in MBA HR as my field of study was, I think, one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And just like the way when I began my graduation journey, I understood my own interests better over a period of time. A similar thing also happened when I pursued my post-graduation. So while I was pursuing my post-graduation, it sort of was established in my mind that because I have that innate sense of passion for training and teaching, L&D would become the right choice for me going ahead. So that's where my interest sort of
so just to sum up, when you thought of becoming a teacher, so how old were you, or like you were in your school days or something?
I was in my 11th standard.
And then you were taking tuitions and classes parallelly, and then you thought of computers, and again you changed it to MBA in HR. So what I feel would be the takeaway for our audience is, it's not too late. Even if you are in graduation and you feel that this is not the right career for me, you can still you still have time, and you can make change your mind and take the move accordingly.
Absolutely, it's never too late. In fact, you have a better sense of judgment once you are in your graduation.
Correct. And then how did the post MBA HR journey started in corporate?
So something that I was clear in my mind about was that right from the first day of my career, preference was that I start off in the field of L&D because that was my first love, and I wanted to pursue it with whatever I have I have within me, all my strengths put to test, and I was lucky enough to get that chance. While I would candidly accept that my first job was in the e-learning industry, and that wasn't really traditional L&D or classic L&D, so to say. I was more behind the scenes, like you are behind the camera sometimes, doing all that you can so that the movie looks good on the in the theater. But I think I enjoyed that piece as well. I started off as a at a very simple level. I was a coordinator to begin with, where my job in simple terms was to coordinate the e-learning journeys that a lot of working professionals chose as a part of their distance learning education piece. So we used to work with multitude of universities across India and abroad, where my job was to help them clear their learning journey or clear their graduation or post-graduation, whichever course they've applied for, and help them wherever they are stuck. So I actually administered their learning journey from start to finish.
So was it something like a counselor sort of a job, or no?
No, I think my job began after the counseling was done. So I was never into convincing,
or helping them,
Yeah.
what would be the better stream for them? Anything of that sort? Or
no,
they had
so that
made
was
the
taken
decision?
care of by the sales team.
Okay.
So I was never into sales, and that has never been my
Okay.
passion or my go-to or my forte for that matter.
Okay.
My job began after they had enrolled for their courses.
So they have
After-
decided.
yeah,
now.
they've decided. Their
Okay.
decision is already made.
Huh.
So my job was into administering the entire learning journey,
Yes,
right
yes.
from the time they enroll till the time they pass out.
Understood.
So that was my very first job,
Okay.
and I enjoyed thoroughly. That was how I moved into e-learning gradually, and from e-learning then into traditional L&D
Okay.
or classic L&D.
Okay, sure. And during this, tenure in corporate, so would like to know two things from you. One is memorable experiences in this
Yeah.
entire tenure, and second is challenging experiences,
Okay.
along with your learnings and how you
Yeah.
got over those challenges.
Where do I start? So I think I've loved every bit of my career,
Uh-huh.
and there have been enormous amount of memorable experiences. And just to name a few, whenever I've had the opportunity to design something from scratch, like for example, my second job was something that I enjoyed the most. It was in a healthcare sector.
Right.
And I was very candidly told in my interview that, while we are hiring you as an L&D lead here in the healthcare industry, or it was a chain of hospitals,
Right.
while we are hiring you with a very conscious thought in mind, let us very honestly accept that the department in itself needs to be built from
Oh.
scratch. And I think I really loved that honesty in the interview itself.
Correct.
And there is no greater joy than having the opportunity to create something, build something from scratch.
Absolutely.
So I had that opportunity to build an entire framework of the department that I ran,
Correct.
hire my first team member in the team, and then of course the journey continued. I worked with that company for 8 years.
Great.
And when I look back, I remember that first day when the department didn't exist. I mean, there was just one table and a chair kept there, and from there till the time I moved to
I'm remembering Mission Mangal movie and
Oh, yeah.
how the project started. So something like that,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
That is how you
Yeah.
started.
So that was, I think, one of the most memorable experiences in my life. I mean, the bigger memorable experiences in my life. Other than that, there have been many, of course, on a day-to-day basis. I think I'm really grateful that I get to do what I love to do.
Right.
And the journey has been great so far. And having said that, I've had equal amount of challenges as well. One challenge that it's a little interesting to share, but something that I've always faced right from the initial days of my career is that whichever team I've had, any team members that I've had, I've always been younger to them.
Is it?
Yeah. So my team members have been elder to me in age, and that today, of course, it doesn't matter because I've myself also grown over a period of time.
Right.
I think it's natural human psychology or tendency to take a younger person a little less seriously, maybe
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Correct.
So I did face that in the initial stages of my career. But I think, it also helped me push myself further because I felt the need to take those extra efforts to prove myself. And, knowledge overpowers everything. So I ensure that I learn every day. And especially being in a department like L&D, I think learning starts from home. So that has always been my motto.
So knowledge overpowers everything, I think.
Yeah,
This is the key takeaway from this question. Yeah, I completely understand, and I can imagine when you have a manager who is a little more, elder than you, it becomes very natural, and we are completely okay with it.
Yeah.
But when you got to know that, oh, my manager is, younger than me, I can imagine it must be little challenging. Okay, so if someone is facing this challenge, what suggestion or advice would you like to give audience who is watching this? And if they are facing similar challenges, any, 1 or 2 pointers that you would like to tell them? First is, of course, knowledge that you mentioned. Anything else that you would like to tell?
So apart from knowledge, 2 things. One is keep it professional. All right. And at the same time, there's a paradox that lies there. While you keep it professional, also take efforts to build that connection, build that bond with your own team. You can never succeed as a leader without the help of your team.
Correct.
If your team doesn't exist, you will never be a leader, honestly.
Right.
And you are what you are because of the kind of efforts that they put in and the kind of outcome that they generate.
Right.
So it's extremely important, and regardless of your age, I believe, it's just that in the case where you are younger than your team, maybe you'll have to put in that little extra effort in doing that.
Okay.
But it's extremely important to keep it professional, one, and two, ensure or exert that little effort to build that connection and bond with your team. So that if there's trust that persists between both parties, I think the overall journey is smoother
Right.
and better.
Great perspective. So takeaway, I think, is be professional, but at the same time have that connection, have that personal bond with your team members.
Yeah.
However, your most of the career is in healthcare industry.
Yeah.
So would like to know more about your experience in L&D in healthcare industry.
So I get asked this question quite often.
So what do you do to stay updated? Any specific sources that you would like to share today?
Yeah, so while I will name a few sources, like the most common ones would be Harvard Business Review,
Okay.
or reading blogs and articles on HR Bartender, or maybe People Matters,